Hey, you guys, welcome back. This is going to be episode 3 of the Multicast with Purge, Blitz, and Hotbid. How you guys doing?
I am tired.
What time
And
is
my
it for you
sleep
right
schedule's horrible. It's like 3 a.m. or something like that. No, it's 1 a.m. It's 1:30 a.m.
now? That's not too bad. And we just got back from ESL New York. Hotbid, how do you feel the event went?
It was really stressful for me, but it was really fun. That was my first actual event doing production and helping produce it, and it was great. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it. I learned a lot, but it was very tiring. So I'm happy to have a day off today.
What were your average tasks during the event? Because I saw you walking back and forth. You kind of handled some things that need to be done. What was your
I was during the most of it. That what I've been doing is planning and that kind of stuff before the event.
Okay.
During the event, it's handling talent and casters and making sure all of that goes smoothly, who goes on where, feedback for all of them, how they're doing, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then executing a few things that I planned during the event, for example, the salt portrait is one of those things, how to play the video, what music goes on it, how to, coordinating with PPD to make sure he's there, how it, goes up, all that kind of stuff. And I had a few, other little things that I had to handle during the event, but it's a lot of just basic problem solving during production. I was helping out during showing picture-in-picture and stuff like that. By the way, I can hear someone typing really
That's
loud.
me. Sorry. Okay, that's interesting. Will, how did you think the event went? Main things that... No, go ahead first, sorry.
Okay. I mean, this was my first time attending / working an ESL New York event. I worked Frankfurt. I guess the big difference, the easiest way to do it would be to compare it to ESL Frankfurt. For me, as a caster, it was pretty neat at ESL Frankfurt to be able to cast outdoors and see the audience and stuff. I thought that part was actually pretty neat. But it did get pretty chilly outside a few times. If you remember Hotbid, the weather wasn't great at ESL Frankfurt.
Yeah.
And so for that side, it was kind of a downer. But I remember for ESL New York, we were in we were in the back area, so it didn't feel as hype from a casting perspective. But there were a lot more private areas at ESL New York, where I could just watch the games and hang out. Fan interaction was pretty good at ESL. I'd say the staff was really polite and really patient. When I said I wanted to watch the game with my cousins, I just told the stage manager. He was very, he's yeah, no problem. I've got faith that you'll be there on time and stuff like that. And there was a lot of trust. Whereas I feel for my first event, they didn't have that trust in me at first. They're just make sure you communicate this and this. But for this event, it kind of just felt a little bit more easygoing and relaxed. And that definitely led to a better working environment. So I'd say it was a pretty good event overall.
There were a lot of complaints about fan interaction at the event, I feel. One thing that I thought was a little bit poor was the screens were kind of small. I didn't actually watch from the crowds, but I'm guessing that the venue didn't really necessarily support a larger screen.
Yeah, there were 3 screens, but it was the same kind of thing from last year. The venue is pretty difficult to get a one gigantic screen.
Yeah, it was very vertically shallow. It was a very long event set up for theater, basically.
I mean, I think that a lot of the limitations in terms of the setup is it's created by the theater, but it's our job to overcome that kind of stuff. But I watched a little bit from the crowd, and if you're at the right angle for the side monitors in the front, it seemed okay. Obviously, if it was bigger, it would be better, but I don't know if that's really feasible from how the setup is.
Why do you guys decide to host the event there as opposed to somewhere else?
I mean, Madison Square Theater?
Yeah.
Well, one, I wasn't fully in charge of that part of it because I came in right as the event was already halfway done through planning. So it'll be evaluating the strengths and weaknesses of it next year. I'll ask about it, I guess.
Okay.
I would assume that it's just New York is really good for certain fan interaction, for sponsors, for just the atmosphere of the event, I would say.
I thought that part was good. You guys said, you said the fan interaction was pretty good. I felt that part was kind of hard to do, personally. I know some people on Reddit complained that there wasn't much fan interaction in the crowd, I saw some comments, people there was a lot of downtime between games. But as a caster, I didn't feel like that at all. I felt like actually the speed of the games and the downtime between was really, really good. Like to the point where we had like almost no time off as casters to interact with fans and things like that. Like the one time we did go out, we went and got demi heroes, and we like barely made it back in time.
Yeah, we tried to make it move fast. I think there were some delays in terms of like the computer technical issues and stuff, but I think that's probably what the crowd was referring to.
Okay, I mean that stuff did happen.
From my perspective, it did feel like things were pretty smooth and quick. Like it was very in and out. I mean, if you want to talk about like fan interactions or whatever, I thought they went pretty smoothly. I think I was asked to do some like gigabyte booth thing, and we got to play with Dota with some fans and stuff, and that was pretty entertaining. Me and Kat played a game.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, that was pretty entertaining. Although some guy trolled me and we lost the game. I was like 30-1 with Ursa, and he took the Aegis from me and like typed lol or something. And I was
you played 1-on-1s with people? Did you do
no,
that?
we played like a straight 5-on-5 or whatever.
So the guy that trolled you, was he there in person?
Yeah.
Did you break his knees?
He was like 14, and he thought it was like the funniest thing of all time. I was just like, he was like a real life walking meme. He would say "lel" in real life, and I was just like, "Kill me." But the other guy we played with was like really cool. Like he was really like cool about the entire thing, and I mean, aside from that, my fan interactions were pretty standard. They're pretty fine.
What about the fan interactions at the after party? A lot of people complained that they bought these premium tickets and that they, if you guys missed the information, there was an after party the last night. I think it was a Twitch after party, as far as I know. And the people with the VIP passes were stuck on the 3rd level, which had arcades, and all the personalities and players and casters were on the 4th level, where there were bowling alleys and stuff. And a lot of people thought that they were going to be able to hang out at the party with the personalities, but they got stuck on the 3rd level instead. So there's a lot of drama about that. It seems to have gone away now, but what do you want to say your statement now, Hotbid?
No, I have a lot of thoughts about that.
Okay.
I think that specifically with regards to the party, it's tough because you have one aspect of it is balancing the personalities and casters and players, like what they want to do, and then balancing what the fans want to do. I don't think any after party ever guarantees that you're going to have X amount of time with personalities or players. I think it's just like it's always like kind of up in the air whether they decide to do that or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that it is certain like arrangements can be better. Like let's say you have one gigantic floor with like a roped off area, and then it makes it easier for them to go down to like talk to fans and stuff like that. But
yeah, it's definitely hard. We had to like either take the elevator down a floor, or we had to walk down these stairs and jump under like a rope, and it was just a pain in the ass to go up and down fast.
It wasn't super crowded, so in a way we could do it if we wanted to, and I think we did for like 10-15 minutes. And I think some other people did, but I think what really hurt it was that one, it felt the 3rd floor felt a bit dead because it was so large and like roomy, and there was not a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part was just not a lot of people. Like the upper part was so good that not a lot of people wanted to go down to interact with fans. And I think this is what is a big thing for personalities and casters, because you don't want to be like, I don't want to interact with fans, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
No one ever wants to admit that, but that is generally the case for, like, almost all players. Like, they never want to do it because it's, like, work, especially after an event's over.
I talked to one player, and he was like, I want more girls up here. He's like, those are the fans I want up on the 4th floor.
Okay, all right. But, so it's hard for, like, fans to, I wouldn't say, not to say accept it, but it's like, as you get more events and bigger events and Dota gets bigger, expecting social interaction with personalities and players is something that's going to be tough to bring about. Like, you're going to have to basically be like, I really hope that they are in a good mood and want to come down and interact with fans and take pictures and talk and whatever. That shouldn't, I think that it's tough to have that expectation, especially when it's just going to get worse from now on.
Yeah. Talking from a personality standpoint, even if you are in like a VIP area, there's always going to be people that still want to interact with you that you don't know. So it's like, even if you do segment the fans off, it's already like a slight drain on your
I feel like it's
personality.
like I know you guys and I know all the players, and they like their fans, and they're really patient and they talk to everyone and like all that stuff. But when the event's over and they're at a party, like they honestly, like 99% of them don't want to do that stuff. Yeah. But they're not going to be the one that's like, oh, I'm not going to go down there. They're just going to be like, oh, sorry, I was in the upper area that was roped off, like I couldn't see. Like, you know, they're not going to explain it like the way I'm explaining it now, right? So
yeah, I thought one thing you guys could have done was, and I thought that this would be the expectation when I went down there first, is that all the arcade games would be free.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. If there was a way that you guys could have like given us all cards, and we could have just played arcade games, like I would have totally hung out down there and like played racing games with people. Although very easily they would be abused. I'm sure some of the personalities would be like, "Oh yeah, sure, you guys can all play racing games with me," and they just like max.
I think
that shit was expensive though. I don't know how like that would even work.
It was like $2 a basketball game.
You still owe me a PayPal for the $10 I lost. Do you remember that, Hotbid?
What do you mean?
I was trying to get my money back from the machine, and you're like, "I'll just PayPal you. Don't worry."
Oh yeah, I will. Would you like to bet $10 on who would win in a basketball shootout between us?
When it comes to the after party, though, I think the main thing people were annoyed at was just I think they wanted it to be more transparent about how the setup was for the after party, rather than the after party itself. Because I saw some people that like went and had no idea, and then it's just kind of they felt like it was a waste of time, right? Because I think the only people that like went down were like me, Kevin, Cap went to play. I think I saw Coddle Guy down there.
No,
like a few people like stopped by.
Players probably did too, just for a brief amount of time.
I read on Reddit people said Eternal Envy did as well.
Yeah, I saw him go down there, but at the same time, I think that for sure it should have definitely been advertised that was more going to be like a players after party than.
I don't know, like because each after party is very it's really dependent on how the personalities and players act. So, like, for example, ESL Frankfurt, there was a roped-off area, too. And,
yeah, but that felt a little different because, it was, the dance floor was on like, the public area. So I felt, like, a lot more inclination to, because I love dancing, so I felt a lot more inclined to actually go to the public area.
And I also think there were just more people, and for some reason there were just more, it was easier, you know, like the area was smaller, like the area with all the personalities and players was smaller, so people like walked out more. But sometimes they just don't, and I think, you know, it was a kind of perfect storm of circumstances in this situation. I think it would have been better if everything was on the same floor, but I'm not sure logistically if that would have worked. Personally, like I thought a lot of the feedback we got from the personalities and players was that they really liked the party, but I agree that we could have done a better job of facilitating like the fan and player interaction.
Actually, I thought it was great. Like free bowling at some point. Like I just didn't feel like talking to anybody, so I just went and I bowled like 4 sets by myself until my arm was completely sore. Like, and the drinks were pretty. I mean, the drinks were pretty standard. Like free drinks at Twitch Party is nothing weird for personalities, but the bowling was nice. They had lots of little rooms. There was food. It was good.
Yeah, I just think like the issue is going to be in future parties like this is that you're not going to have a situation where you can interact with players anymore. It's just not going to happen. Like it's if it does happen, then like great. Like that's very that's just lucky, I guess. But having that expectation is not gonna be good. You just have to communicate it.
It's really hard to get people to agree to it.
Yeah, like
I mean, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, it's almost impossible. You can't ever advertise that you're going to be able to talk to players and personalities at the party, because there's just a chance that you just won't, you know? With that many people, it's just sometimes you just won't. And like a TI, do you remember the TI one? It's just like, it was crazy. It was like too many people. Just like all over, it was like all over the place. People just left. Like all the players just left so early.
At some point you're like, well, I just spent like 2 hours talking to fans, and I maybe just want to hang out with other players and stuff like that, and they just say, whatever, I'm going back to the hotel, we'll hang out there. So I know that happens with some people.
I don't know. I feel really weird about the whole like fan thing. I know it's not reasonable to expect, but I still feel like I'm just a regular person, and so when I go to an after party, my expectation is to get slightly drunk to hammered, and then just like talk and yell, and I don't really like to take photos in moments like that, you know, because it's going to be on social media and I'm going to look like an idiot. And I don't.
You don't
really
want to be.
talk. Sorry.
Yeah, since you're like a public figure, you don't want to be the guy that is like, oh, I don't want to talk to you guys, like the fans.
I mean, no, I mean I like having fan interactions for sure. But if I'm at an after party, the last thing I want to do is take photos or talk Dota. Like I just want to shoot the shit and have a really fun time. Like probably my best fan interaction at the after party was this guy came up to me. He didn't talk to me about like the event or Storm Spirit or like the patch. He literally just like asked me questions. I asked him questions about his life, and we got to know each other. And he was like really cool. Like he talked about his job. I talked about mine, like willingly at that point. And then we exchanged Skypes, and he just sent me a message like an hour ago. And now we're like friends pretty much. And that was like a fantastic.
Okay, can I stop you and just be like, this is like the most unrealistic situation ever. Like you're gonna be at an after party with like hundreds of people that want that exact experience with you, and you're just not gonna be able to accommodate all of them. Like that's.
I mean,
like,
okay,
you just got lucky with one random guy, and you had time.
That was.
You know what I mean?
What I'm trying to say
possible.
Though is, if those were the type of interactions that I had, I would be all up in that arcade area. But I agree with you because most of the interactions that I have are that I'm hammered. And some guy's asking me about Storm Spirit and trying to meme, and I'm kind of drunk, and I'm really tired because I just worked an event, like a full day, and I just want to relax.
Even if you had that interaction repeated over and over and over again, that is your entire evening. Like that's like 5 people an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be okay. Like, that would be ideal.
Like you wouldn't be able to talk to anyone else. It would be just that. And I feel like after party is always like really sketchy situation. Like it's like some people up there that are friends with other people, you know, like obviously there's like a gender ratio thing that goes on. Like you're much more likely to have pros talk to you if you're a female, you know, that kind of thing also happens. And it's just, I don't know. I think it's the after party thing is a very complicated situation. And I understand that people get really mad because they don't get the experience that they imagined it. You know, like they have it in their mind, like this is what's going to happen at the after party, and like, but
basically what Will just said. That's
yeah, like that is the ideal situation that would happen. You meet someone, you guys chill, you guys talk, you become friends. Like that's, like, Blitz just fucking gave an unrealistic expectation to everyone listening to this podcast.
What? Just be cool. It's all good.
No, it's not though. Like,
and most importantly, don't ask people about like. Some shit build that you do as a 3K player. Like, do not like high level players like hate talking about like build ideas that like 3K players have. It's just like there's so many conversations that you just shouldn't have basically when you're at a party like that pros just like it's a chore to talk about. Like don't talk about like metagame stuff at like what you think is good. Don't like try to be like I'm a genius even though I'm a 3K player. How do you feel this build is? Because it's just a waste of time. Like one guy was like Bloodstone and Ember Spirit, and I'm just like, this is a fucking waste of a conversation for me, you know? I could be talking to so many other people and enjoying myself.
But you were talking about Dota items.
Bloodstone and Ember Spirit, like, that's what I was talking about.
I think, I think it's gonna be interesting how it's, like, how the specific wording on how to advertise a VIP party is gonna be, that's going to be complicated because there is a chance that you're going to be interacting with people, but there's a pretty good chance that you won't. So it's like just kind of up in the air a bit.
Yeah. All right.
So, I
think we talked enough about the after party. Results, we can talk about that a little bit. Vega ended up winning. If you guys missed it, too late for spoilers. I don't give a shit. So they end up getting a major invite because of that, which is pretty cool. Good for them. Any other teams you guys want to talk about?
I mean, we can talk about EG.
Okay.
Do you guys think that they'll be fine? At what point are they not fine?
If they bomb at the next major,
then they're definitely not fine. Yeah, I agree.
Then I don't know if they'll change, but I think they'll definitely. I think MLG will matter to them from a confidence perspective, but I think that for them, like going from a TI win to an MLG, they probably don't care as much about an MLG as they do about winning the major. Because if you lose the MLG but win the major, that's a lot better than the other way around, right? So I think that'll be their main focus.
I agree with that. I think they'll be fine, honestly. Like, yeah, they didn't look perfect, and they had a draft issue game 2, but game 1 looked pretty good for them. They just weren't quite on point, so...
I mean, they also ran into Vega,
Yeah.
and Vega looked excellent at the entire event, so...
Yeah, they definitely have a couple players where you're like, yep, you're pretty much top 3 in your position right now. Play really well. So with majors coming up, we can talk about invites a little bit. I don't think the invites were too surprising. The only ones that were maybe out of place were eHome, I feel. But even then, that one was pretty good. It's basically Fnatic maybe got left out when some people thought Fnatic would be left in. But they didn't have the best performance at ESL. Like they did 2-1.
When we were at the airport, we were guessing, and I think me, Kai, and Cap said like the invited list, and I thought it was reasonable that eHome got in over Fnatic. Fnatic's a team that had a really bad result at TI, changed their lineup, and then bombed out pretty hard at ESL.
But they've been playing well since then, right?
And, I mean, they played well in the C region, right?
Yeah.
Like we're from the C region, so we've got roots there, but there aren't a lot of stable teams there. Like there's MVP Phoenix, them, and there are some like other underrated teams. And I'm not going to say they're bad or anything like that, but it's not like the grind that, for example, Europe is, right?
Yeah.
Like if you put, for example, 5 Foon Fyongs or whatever in C, like I'm sure they would dominate. So it's kind of unfair that they get one. Whereas like eHome was a team that finished top 8 at TI. They've been doing pretty well in all their qualifiers. They qualified for ESL, didn't they? But they just couldn't go because of like Ace or something like that, like misscheduled things. So like I feel like eHome is the better team right now than Fnatic. Not to say that Fnatic can't improve. Like I think Fnatic has one of the higher skill ceilings, but
I agree.
I definitely think that eHome deserved it over them. Like I felt like the 8 invited teams were the ones that showed stability like post TI and during TI.
I really like that it's kind of up in the air. Like you have no idea who's going to win. Like I actually have no idea who's going to win. Like MLG in the major, like there's no like clear favorite anymore. It's kind of awesome actually.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like if like I don't think anyone expects Vega to just repeat, you know, like I don't think like they're not going to just go and start winning everything now. It's just like they played really well at this one event, and then the next event you just don't know.
I think part of that is because now they're no longer the underdog, and so teams that might not have given them as much like credit beforehand, like they'll definitely study them a lot harder than they were before. Like when you looked at ESL, all the teams were probably thinking about like EG in the back of their minds. Mm-hmm. And they probably didn't even consider Vega really beating them, right? So it's like if you're on the other side of the bracket and you had to briefly study a team, you're going to study EG because you assume that's the team that you're going to play against.
That's a good point. Maybe
and also, like,
you'll figure out the brood.
Vega is not going to MLG, so you have no idea how they would play against those teams either.
Yeah, the groups just got announced for MLG though.
Who are the teams that are going to MLG?
It's MVP Phoenix, cool. Secret, Virtus Pro, LGD, CDEC, EG, Monkey Business, and C9.
Wow, that's like actually a really fucking good tournament.
Yeah, it is. I think the field is as strong as ESL for sure.
Yeah, that was 2 really good tournaments, honestly. Normally, some of those, like ESL New York and some of the MLG tournaments don't have the best roster of teams, but both of these are great. That's awesome. It's
too bad because, like, if let's say Monkey Business wins the whole thing, let's say like Monkey Business wins, right? Mm-hmm. There's a chance that they don't make it into the major, right? Because of the qualifier, so like crazy.
Yeah.
That would be lame. Like, I think they might have. It's tough to like save the major invite to this late, but it would have been cool if like one of the like Vega's like exact example for why you need to save a major invite, right?
Yeah.
Like they announced the invites immediately after ESL 1, which was obviously Vega influenced it like significantly. Had they like lost to EG in the first round, I don't think they would have been invited. So MLG might be the same way, but it's too late to influence it.
That's a good point. All right, got any funny stories that happened while we were in New York?
I can tell my cab one, although I tweeted about it, but it was pretty random.
Not everybody listens to this or watches it. What happened?
All right, so it was like me, Kai or Hani Cap and Toby were taking Cap back from the airport, and keep in mind that it was like a pretty long flight. It was like a 7-hour flight, and then it was like a 3-hour cab ride. Okay, and apparently there was like they said there was like some UN assembly or something like that.
Okay.
Like
I
don't actually know. JFK.
Okay.
So, anyways,
It's like a 30-minute
about an
drive
hour.
with no traffic.
Yeah.
probably.
An hour and a half into our cab ride, our cab driver's like, I really have to stop over and like buy a gas station and go pee. And he asked us if that was okay. And of course, we're not gonna say no. We're like, yeah, for sure. So we just assumed that he was just gonna like, you know, pull over, go pee. At worst, just like pull over and like pee on the street or something, right?
Yeah.
Like even that would have kind of been socially acceptable for me. But the guy pulls out a water bottle in front of Honey, who's in the front seat, poor Honey, and just legit starts peeing. Like without really like saying anything. He drops a bottle, starts peeing into a bottle, and just like goes on his way.
Like I heard you tell this story, but I didn't know someone was in the front seat. Like someone actually watched him do it. Like what?
Yeah, it was like 4 of us.
No, I asked Honey. He didn't actually directly look at it. But
he didn't
knew what
see
was
that.
happening.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like you're at
And then-
in the bathroom. You don't look at their.
And then some like guy like tapped our car driver's like, or our cab driver's like car, and then like our cab driver just like immediately got out of his car and was like down to like fight or something like that. It was,
Did he
like, the
throw
weirdest-
the bottle of urine at him? Because
No.
I would have done that. I would have just been like, "Oh shit! I just made a weapon. I can throw this at him." And the other guy would be like, "Ah." Like, would you ever fight someone that had a bottle of urine in his hands? Like, no.
No.
I would be like, "I'm out."
Nobody wins
Like,
there.
no, like, no thanks.
It's like still
I don't
warm.
care. Yeah, it's like you could. It's still warm. Ugh.
No, I just didn't Is that like a New York thing where like cab drivers are just like down to fight?
No, I've never seen a fight in New York.
Okay.
From cab drivers or anything. Like, it's like, why didn't you guys just Uber? Like, I don't understand.
Because none of us had phones with the app or whatever, so we were just like, whatever.
None of you had phones with the app. Like, can't you just download it?
I mean, you know that I don't have a functioning phone.
Like Cap and Hanny and those guys didn't.
I mean,
They didn't have American plans or whatever.
I was,
that's
I was
right,
gonna
yeah.
Uber as well, but there was a cab right there, so I just took a cab instead. It honestly wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
On the way back.
Mine was the worst experience.
We had
by
like
far.
a 15-minute ride or something.
You know why I think Uber's safer than cabs?
Why?
Because if there's like a serial killer, right? Like a serial killer that
Okay.
like wants to kill you, he would definitely not be doing Uber because like you can see exactly where he dumps the body. Like it tracks like GPS.
Oh, okay.
So like
Also, if you keep dying, people keep going missing. They can just be like, "Oh, they're taking this guy's Uber." Like that's not even the
they'll
bump.
be like,
dumping
okay,
bodies.
so this guy
literally-
he went off course for 5 minutes near the lake, and then he went back on course, and the person was gone from the car. So I think something happened there, and then they can find you.
Yeah, he would be really
can
screwed
find-
as a mass murderer. Totally, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about one serious topic before we do the rest of our stories. We have the Frankfurt qualifiers coming up at the end of the week. Blitz and I are flying to Sweden to do it. So it's basically Moonduck and Dream League / DreamHack dudes and 3 from Join Dota, right?
And all those. So wait, who's going from Join Dota?
Me, Cap, and Tobes.
No one else.
Yeah. I think everybody else has stuff doing.
So it's basically like 9 Moonduck people plus the leftover Dream League people, which is Lumi, Shiver, and Shane, and then the 3 Join Dotas. So.
And then the observers from GD Studio 2.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And Draskell, I guess technically since he's both studios.
Yeah.
But primarily ours.
So why did you guys avoid like freeze out BTS? Like what's going on?
Well, we realized that we do not personally like BTS. We're not friends with them, and we wanted to stick it to them as hard as we could. That's pretty clear. Because
Like
why else would we not invite them, right?
percent?
Right, guys?
What percent sarcasm is your statement? that you just
100%. We all like them. I wasn't involved in the deal or anything, but I think what happened was Dream League was basically like, we have a studio, do you guys want to use it? And we're like, okay. And then they're like, should we invite Join Dota? And everybody's like, okay. And then Join Dota got invited, and then it just kind of is like, BTS got last picked is pretty much it, I think. I think that's all that happened. It wasn't like since it was Dream League studio, obviously we'll use Dream League, and then Join Dota's in Europe, so why not use them?
Yeah, we're really close by.
It's like,
yeah. What so you're covering Europe and China?
I guess they chose Europe and China. I had no idea until the announcement. I didn't know what would happen.
I think BTS is covering all of them though.
Well, good for them. If you guys something to the viewers, by the way, the way that TI's worked in the past, like qualifiers, is that you wouldn't be allowed to put your own sponsors on your stream. So TI would be like, or Valve would be like, okay, everybody can cover the tournaments from home, but we're not going to pay you for it, and you're not allowed to brand over it or something like that. Like you're only able to like run Twitch ads. I think that's what they did in previous years, but this year they said that anybody can brand over it. So basically, you're better able to monetize it for yourself if you're a studio, for example. So that was kind of a nice change to the format. One of the biggest differences. But then we had like we put the qualifiers together. I think that was run by Twitch, basically. Twitch organized the qualifiers.
Hey, can we talk about something that I've been thinking about for a while?
Yeah.
Sure.
We briefly touched on the topic of if the studios got into a fight.
Yeah, go ahead. You can talk.
And that reminds me of when Hotbid had to race Toby.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
So, I'll tell my perspective first. Before we talked to Hotbid, like, everyone was telling me, like, Ben Wu told us the story about how Toby smoked the shit out of everyone in a foot race. And the people running were Milk and Bruno, I think. And he's like,
because Toby ran track in, like, high school or something.
Yeah. So then they were all, like, bragging about how fast Toby was. And Milk was like, he's just unbelievably fast. Like, they were just talking literally like he was some sort of, like, speed demon Olympic level, like, shit. And then, so then the conversation topic was brought to Ken. And Ken was like, do you remember, Ken? You're just like, I could definitely beat him in a race.
I just said that because they were so sure of it. Like, they were just like, I think it was like Milk and Zoe and, like, a few other people were just like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, Toby's just incredibly fast. Like, and, like, it was like Toby, like I agree, probably was like pretty fast in high school, right? But you know, a lot changes since then. So, you know, people, they're not training anymore. I definitely am not. So, I didn't really want to race him. I just wanted to be like that guy that was like, no, I could beat him. You know?
And not say anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, just like. And I didn't actually think that this would happen, but eventually, we actually set up a race.
Yeah, they goaded you real hard into that. Because
Yeah.
they were convinced you were going to lose.
Okay, what happened? Where did you guys race?
ESL Frankfurt. It was like right outside the stadium. They really wanted to see it happen. Like, they were 100% convinced. Like, they thought Ken was going to get, like, egg on his face, you know? He's just going to get absolutely smoked. So Ken and Hotbid raced, like, I don't know, it wasn't even 100 meters. It was kind of a short distance.
It was like 50 meters.
Yeah, and then Ken beats him by, like, quite a bit. Like, Ken beat him.
It wasn't
pretty
close.
Bad. It really wasn't.
And they were just
He beat him by, like, 3 lengths.
they were like, well, okay. And that was it. And I'm not even that fast anymore.
Yeah,
like,
but you're much better in
used to
shape
be.
than Toby is.
I don't actually run or do anything anymore. But
Do you just like lift weights?
so what I was talking like Milk, and I was just like, how slow are you? Like, he destroyed him, right?
Yeah.
So I want to see Milk.
The rematch?
Yeah, I want to see the rematch.
Okay. All right.
And what we did at an MLG event is we had a relay race. Like, each studio should have a relay race. Like, that's my idea. I think we should have a relay race at TI.
I think we should just have an athletic competition in general that excludes bike riding.
That makes
I'm gonna
sense.
plan it. I
What
could plan it
about,
for major.
What about how fast can we put our shoes on? How about a race like that?
I mean, what are the competitions we could do, Hotbid, that involve teams?
Well, I think each studio gets to assign their players to or their casters and personalities and production people to various events that we can make. We can call it the Studio Olympics, okay?
Okay.
Now it doesn't have to be like actual Olympic events, because I think that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
What I think we should do is just like one of the events can be a 1v1 mid, right? So it's like some sort of Dota, and they can just pick their, like, it would be like Merlini, and then probably like Cap is probably the best person to join Dota for that. And then someone from like the Moonduck, right? I don't know who'd be the best at Moonduck.
At what?
Cinderin? Would it be Cinderin or you?
I think Cinderin.
At doing what?
For 1v1 mid in Dota.
Yeah, probably.
And then we could have like a foot race could be one of them. So then Toby could do that. And then I'm sure like I don't know, like Coddle Guy or like K-Poptosis are like really fast or something. You can have like an arm wrestling one.
We would use Kai, Hani, Hoonbookers.
Yeah, you guys would win that one, I think. I think you guys got that one.
Can we use Kai more than once? Because I feel like if we could, we would just win.
No, he can only do one event.
That guy is so in shape.
I like that rule as well. You only get to do one cool thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like,
Dude, Cap's in really good shape too, though. He runs every night.
maybe you guys would win like a physical
I think so.
competition. We could have like a math test. You want a math test?
Yeah. I really feel like in most things our studio would win. Like when it comes to athletic competitions, Cap was a Marine. Hani works out like clearly all the time. There's that I don't know if you call it famous, but there's that photo of him, that he posted to his own IMDb of him topless or whatever.
Who did?
Kai?
What?
Did you not see this?
IMDb, like his movie website?
Yeah, because I think he posted himself in the the free to play movie. He was like briefly in it.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah,
when has Hani been in a movie?
So then this is his image that he chose to use, I think.
Did you link this?
Yeah, I did.
I can't wait to look at this. It's
Oh,
just
hello.
like him super ripped in a gym bathroom.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like most of the athletic competitions we would win.
He does not look like this anymore, though.
He's still in really good shape.
This is prime Hani. Okay.
I haven't seen him with his shirt off or anything.
No, he's still in really good shape.
Well, good for him. All right, so can we stop talking about abs and things that I don't have?
You probably beat him in paleness, Kevin. You do get him there.
Kevin, you have those little V muscles. You know, the ones on the sides that point to your dick.
Yeah.
You have those?
I think that's from fat though, not from anything muscle based.
No. You do some planks maybe. Do some planks. Some core climbing exercises.
Yeah.
Some pull-ups.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I have some good stories to tell. First one, I was walking with Will's cousin in New York.
Shout out to Michael.
And we're coming back to the hotel, and we're almost there. And this guy that looked like maybe like 40, something like that, 45. He had like a shaved head, and he was wearing like a jean jacket. We're just walking down the street, and as he passes, he's like, "Well, suck your dick," and he just keeps going. He didn't turn his head, nothing. He just like told us he would suck our dick. I was like, "Is he a prostitute? Does he just want to hook up?" I'm not really sure, but me and Michael were just like really confused about that. So that was pretty fun. And I also saw a woman. Sorry, go ahead.
I said if they knew Michael, that story would be hilarious. He's like the most innocent kid ever.
Yeah, he just looks like a 18-year-old Asian kid in high school or something. I don't know.
Really does.
Maybe he's into Asians. I don't know. Maybe he's talking to me. I'll never know. I actually saw a lot of weird people in New York. Is that is that the thing?
Yes, that's it.
I saw this girl that was dressed like Queen of Pain.
Oh yeah.
It's really weird.
Just like on the street?
Yeah.
That's real freaky. I saw this woman at the airport, and she was wearing a sweater and nothing underneath her sweater, and she had huge breasts, and she had this smile on her face as she was walking, and she was totally like doing like a bounce walk kind of a thing, but she had this like creepy smile. It wasn't like attractive. It was like she's like on medication or something like that. Like she had nothing to smile about. She was literally just strolling through the airport, and they were bouncing everywhere and pointing. They pointed right at my face. Like it was so weird. I was like, you shouldn't be smiling about this. You're like either like soaking in the attention, or you got upgraded to first class on an international flight. Like that's the only thing that could have made her so happy. But I thought that was really weird.
Maybe she's just an exhibitionist.
I guess so. It could have been that.
Get her a booth at ESL. She's willing to pay.
They were independently moving. It was just a little unnerving. Do you guys have any other good stories?
Me and Cap were walking down the street together at the conclusion of the event, and some guys were pretty aggressively yelling at us. And I asked Cap what they said, and he said that they had called us a bunch of faggots a few times.
Okay.
I thought that was kind of cute. Because I wasn't really paying attention. I was talking to Will or something like that.
Blitz is an internal slur filter. It just like blends it all out into the background. He doesn't hear any insults.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of offended, but Cap was just like, it's just New York, just something that happens.
I mean, like that's not something that happens. I don't really have people call me slurs during the day, like as I'm walking. Like that's never happened.
It was pretty. I don't know. I wasn't gonna like turn it into a thing though. So
like we were at when we were at Shake Shack, we had to get seats, and we were like, we got our food, and there was like seats opening up, right? But like everyone's kind of like waiting for them to get the seats, and you know, like you gotta be ruthless in these situations. You can't just like let people go because you'll never get a seat that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this like Asian couple stands up, and I see my opening, and I'm like waiting, and I go and I just sit down, and this lady like, she's like, oh, I've been waiting here, you know, like this is what I've been waiting for, and I have no response to that. Like, I've been waiting too, you know, so I'm not gonna get in a debate by you because I don't really feel like that acknowledges that she exists and that there's an argument and we both have claim to it. Like, I sat down, it's my table, possession is 9/10 of the law. I already own the table now because I'm sitting and she's not. There really shouldn't be a discussion. Like, it's our table now. That's my logic behind it. But you know, Blitz and Purge saw it a different way, right?
I wasn't there actually. I just caught the aftermath.
Oh.
I am a pussy, so I was just like, whatever. Like, it's not a big deal.
Wait, did you stay at the table?
No, I mean, I left, but
I sat down and I was like motioning for Blitz to sit down, but he was too scared to like confront this lady. Like, she's not gonna fight us, dude. It's a crowded restaurant, and we have our food. Like, we have weapons, and she doesn't.
Okay.
Like, she couldn't deal with us. You know, we're in a group.
So did you
We have
guys
like
fight
5
her?
guys in a group.
Did you guys fight her?
No, Blitz left, so I just left. I was like, okay, you can have it. And then the other lady made some comment. What did she say? This other lady.
Oh yeah, some like lady was like watching or something, and she said those guys aren't gentlemen.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah, if I'm waiting for something for a while and it's a table and we want to eat food because we're really hungry after a whole day of production, like, I'm not gonna give you the seat just because you're a middle-aged woman. Like, that is not like, how is that like gentlemanly? We're both waiting for the seat.
You know,
Do you feel there's like an etiquette there, like that I need to abide by? Like, come on.
To be fair, and I should have said something. The lady was after us.
Really, she was waiting after us, right?
Like in
Yeah,
line?
she came in after us. Yeah, she came in after us.
Okay.
But
So-
she's gonna
But she
have
didn't-
like, I don't feel bad for giving her the seat because she's gonna have like less years on the earth. Like, she was older than us, right? So
I guess.
That's
She
your
needs-
reasoning.
she needs the seat more than. I'm not even like flaming. Like, I feel okay with it that we gave it to her. You know.
All right. Since we're on the topic of Shake Shack, I want to rank my my fast food burgers now that I've basically had
God.
everything. So
Okay. Can we do a separate burger and fry ranking? Because I think that's important.
okay.
Okay.
All right. First off, I think the one true restaurant is Culver's. And
That's
I'm
'cause you
biased.
work there.
And
Can
I'm
you
biased.
disclaimer?
I'm biased. I worked there for like a year and a half, and I've like heavily tasted the menu, and I worked at a good one. So maybe you guys have had bad experiences, but if I was to rank all the burgers, I would say between Five Guys, Shake Shack, and Culver's, the burgers are all approximately the same. I would say the Culver's burgers are slightly worse on average, but the dairy and menu options are far better at Culver's. Okay.
I've never had Culver's, so I can't say.
Replace it with In-N-Out then.
Yeah,
for
if
you.
I had to rank In-N-Out, Five Guys, and Shake Shack, I would put Shake Shack first, and then Five Guys, and then In-N-Out in terms of burgers, and then like the lesser, you know, restaurants like Wendy's and McDonald's and stuff.
I think
For
In-N-Out is the
me-
worst of the four, definitely.
Yeah. I've had Culver's, and I think it goes Five Guys, Shake Shack, Culver's, In-N-Out.
And we're talking about burgers, right?
No. Okay.
This is for just burgers. We're going to fries next.
Just burgers.
Culver's is far cheaper, by the way, than Five Guys and Shake Shack.
Yeah, but I'm only taking into account.
well.
We're only taking into account they're all in the same range, you know, like
That's not really true. Culver's burgers
No,
are like
Shake Shack
three
was
to
really
$5.
quite expensive.
Shake Shack was
Yeah.
like $8. That's not
Yeah.
even vaguely close.
no, the burger's like $5.
It was not. If the single maybe like
Oh
if you got
yeah,
a double, it was like
the
$8
double
fucking
is like-
dollars.
yeah, the doubles.
Okay. Then burgers, I would say probably Shake Shack, In-N-Out, Culver's, Five Guys.
You think Five Guys is the worst?
You think Five Guys
I
is
think
the
it's-
worst
I think
burgers?
it's really
Five
sloppy.
Guys burgers are better than Well, maybe they're not. Maybe it is kind of even.
It's
I
pretty
definitely
greasy.
I definitely think the Five Guys fries are the best.
Yeah, that's what
Oh, really?
that's
I
what
didn't
bumps
have
into
those.
me.
I ate it with Pimp Muckle the day when we left, and I didn't get fries.
I think Five Guys fries are the best, and then I actually think In-N-Out's fries are better than Shake Shack's. But the burger is the main point.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yo, how
you know
about
me,
that
I'm a
dairy?
big guy.
Shake Shack dairy was pretty good. I had a shake and it was pretty good, but it wasn't like god tier or anything. I think Culver's has the best one.
Yeah, it
The
was
best
okay.
dessert
I'm
by far.
not really a shake person, but I like the options. They have like all these like weird flavors, like weekly flavors.
That was cool. Culver's has like buttloads of flavors though. Like it's gonna beat everybody on variety. I feel.
You're like a Culver's like a Culver's spokesperson.
Yeah.
Like where do these where are they located?
Midwest down to Texas as well. There's a lot in Texas.
So
Dude, I knew Kevin was huge Culver bias. Like first day met him, he's got pride there.
dude, if we ever go to Austin, we need to get barbecue.
It's just so much better.
I-
It has so many
Dude,
options.
I got barbecue when I was in Austin because my roommate from college, Kevin, shout out to Kevin, actually reserved a place for us, like a really nice one, for me, him, and his girlfriend.
And how was it?
It was amazing. What's really funny is Toby and them couldn't get a table. They didn't set a reservation because it was like a 3-hour wait. But my roommate was really smart, and they thought they could just like saunter in, but
Okay.
it doesn't work like that. But it was excellent. Like everything on the menu was amazing. The food was just like ridiculous. Like it was a pretty surreal experience, and I was super full. It was like top to bottom A+.
How much would it cost?
I think it was a little pricey, but my friend works at IBM, so he covered it. So
Okay.
it was all good in the hood.
I also enjoy eating food.
I'm happy we were able to experience that together.
Yeah, the Shake Shack and the woman.
Yeah.
The angry woman.
The woman that got pissed at us.
Yeah.
She was quite frustrated.
Yeah, whatever. That place is just busy. Like when you have that many people close together, like there are going to be some awkward interactions. Like no matter what, everybody's going to be stressed out. We're like packed with people in lines, and then we had to fight for seats. It was just kind of stressful. So nothing too weird there. I also had the worst cab driver ever on the way back. I'm pretty sure, like he was a really nice guy, but I think he maybe didn't know how to read. Like I'm not entirely sure, but like I rode with Pimp Muckle. We got picked up by our hotel. I was like, oh, I'm at LaGuardia. He's at JFK, and he's like, oh, that's fine. It's on the way, and it was on the way. It was slightly out of the way for Pimp Muckle, but it was largely fine. He got honked at like 5 times when we were driving. He would like put 15% of his car in the other lane and just be like driving around the curve slightly in the other lane, and this other car would just be like honking the horn for like 5 seconds, and the guy wouldn't even move over. It was really bizarre. And once we finally got close to the airport, you know how there's like you're like on the road by the airport, you're supposed to pull to the right to let people off, like it's like the slow traffic. On the left side it's like the fast traffic. Well, he just missed the right lane. Like I don't know why, but he missed the lane, and he drove past the terminal that I was supposed to go to. And then he kept driving past it, and he went to the taxi area, and he's basically like, all right, I have to go back over the loop. And after he goes out of the loop, he's basically like, oh, I missed the turn. And I was like, why didn't he just stop and drop me off? It was really confusing. So he pulls over, he pulls his phone out to like check, because apparently he didn't understand that he'd missed it. Even though I was like, it's American, it's Terminal B, it says Terminal B fucking everywhere across it.
Why didn't you just point it out that?
I was like, he's the fucking cab driver. He's from New York. He's got a
Come
goddamn
on.
GPS. He can figure this shit out, okay?
Come on, Kevin, be assertive.
Believe me, I was eventually assertive. So he finally gets back on the loop to head back to the area. And we have this like on-ramp thing that basically like merges our 1 lane into their 2 lanes that get us back towards the airport area. And he comes up to a stop sign, and there's like 2 cars coming. And he stops long enough where it's like, all right, he can't go now. But then he fucking goes. He cuts this car off, and right behind that car is a fucking cop car. So this cop car spins his lights, pulls up to the right lane, because the car we're in is now in the left lane, and he gets the guy to stop, and he points out his window straight at the guy, and the guy rolls the window. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. And the cop's just like, if you get in an accident with those people in the car, you are going to jail. Like, because apparently it's a big deal or something. I don't know. He was driving like an asshole. He basically cut the guy off, and he ran the stoplight. And the cop was like, I got your plates, and said a bunch of really aggressive things, but didn't actually like give him a ticket or anything. And the guy was like, oh, I'm sorry, where's Terminal B? And the cop's like, it's right up ahead to the right. Like, drive safer. Like, really angry. And then the cop drove off. So the guy's like, okay, thank you very much, sir. And he starts driving, and we get up to the cross again, and the signs are like, to the right, B, C, D, or something, and to the left, A something. And he slows down to like 5 miles an hour and is just like not sure what to do. And it's so fucking clear. And I'm like, and I start saying, I'm like, it's to the right. Terminal B is to the right. Just go to the right, sir. Go to the right. I'm being assertive. I'm being nice about it. And what he does, he fucking goes to the left. It just said B.
Maybe he's just fucking with you.
And he just had no idea what to do. I don't know if he was just incompetent, if he couldn't read. He was a really nice guy, and I wanted to feel bad for him, but like he had no fucking business driving an automobile. It was really bad. This was far worse than my last driving experience with ESL. Far worse. And he just went left, and we're basically in like fast lanes. But luckily there was a stoplight. I was like, I'm just getting out here. I was like, just let me out here. It's fine, man. It was like a red light. There's like no pedestrian crosswalks. I just got out of the car. And then Pimp Muckle rode with him all the way to JFK. I have no fucking idea what happened, but there's no way that it went well because my experience with that guy, he was an awful driver.
How did you get him again?
I picked him up at a taxi. There was like a taxi waiting line or something on the street.
Was he worse or better than our Korean guy after
Oh,
Interstellar?
our Korean guy was a competent driver. It was just he just drove extremely unsafe. This guy was a completely incompetent driver. He did not drive well, and it was, I don't know, it was not good. So I'm alive and I made it there, but I don't know what that'll happen to Pimp, but it was.
You should just go in those situations. Just go to sleep. Just be like, I'm gonna wake up in the hospital or at the airport.
I mean, we had like 3 hours to go till our flight, but I'm pretty sure that if I went to sleep, I would have missed my flight. Like, there's no way. The guy was really bad. So that's the worst cab I've ever actually had. Because at least the guy when he almost killed us at Interstellar. Like, at least he knew what he was doing. He just did some really dumb shit.
Oh, I saw The Martian. Did you guys see The Martian?
I'm actually gonna go see it as soon as we're done with the podcast. So.
I have not seen it yet, so...
God damn it, I want to talk about it.
I have to wait till Sweden. We'll do it for our next podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, Kevin, when do you actually fly?
Tomorrow 2 p.m., so like less than 24 hours.
Is this your first time in Sweden?
Yeah, I've never been to Sweden before.
Oh, sick. It is for me, too.
But
this should be exciting.
You know
But
how
you've never been?
No, I've never
You guys
been.
have never been?
You guys know how it's going to be, though. Like, you're going to show up, you're going to see a little bit of Sweden, you're going to drive to the airport hotel, or the hotel that we're at, and then we're basically going to show up and cast Dota 24 hours a day, and then go to sleep, and then we'll leave the day after and not actually see Sweden. So
Let me just say, as someone who has been to Sweden, did you know that Sweden has the highest suicide depression rate out of any country?
Does it?
Yeah.
I knew that Scandinavian countries usually do, because they're so north, so they get less.
Because you never get to see the sun.
And it gets really cold, and there's a lot of snow.
Yeah, despite their extremely affordable health care, like very understanding democratic government, a very attractive kind of populace.
Very relevant.
No, it's true. I don't know, everyone's attractive. It probably makes people happier
So
in general.
you're basically saying that if the country is filled with ugly people, you would be unhappy because there's so many fucking ugly people in your life, and because they're attractive.
No, I'm saying
you're gonna be happier.
that. Well, if you put it that way, it sounds really bad. However, what I'm saying is that if you are a citizen of a country that's generally has ugly people, then you are more likely to be ugly, and that makes you unhappy, right?
Only if the average is if everybody's equally ugly and their expectations in a mate is representative of the attractiveness of the general public, then it doesn't matter. But if you're
it does matter. Let's just say everyone shoots for the moon at some point.
At some point they do, but eventually they will be brought down. I had a friend in college that was like that. He was way too expectant to get somebody that was like a 10, and eventually he cleaned himself up a lot and he became a lot more attractive. But his standards also dropped a lot more, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
I wouldn't even say dropped. I would say your standards change, right?
Don't drop your standards, guys.
It's not drop.
Watching.
It's change.
Keep your standards high, guys.
I really feel that that's the case. I think as people get older, they value straight up looks a lot less.
Well,
and I don't think it's necessarily settling. I think it's just their priorities change.
In my example of this guy, they definitely dropped because he was looking for like physically perfect women, whatever that means. And obviously, yeah, people's standards do change over time. You see what's more important to you. In most cases, it's not physical attractiveness; it's actually enjoying your partner and things like that. Like they definitely change as a whole, but there are a few people that are like, I'm a social outcast and I want to date the hottest girl at the school, and they genuinely believe that anything less than that is unrealistic.
You know why that is, right?
No.
In general, if you feel you kind of want to be validated by that, like it's like if you're dating someone that's like super, I don't know, perfect or attractive or whatever, it feels like they're like validating you, right? Like, you know, that's why people have like those fantasies about the like meeting, like, I don't know, one of those like celebrity actresses, then they somehow fall in love with you, and like everyone's had that fucking.
You mean like at an after party or something?
Oh my god. Okay, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like everyone has that fucking fantasy, right?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'll just run into them at a coffee shop
Yeah,
and I'll say
I'll
hi.
just run. I'll run into, I don't know. I'll run into Emma Watson at a coffee shop, and she's gonna fall in love with me.
And that's all it's
I'm
gonna
such
take.
an amazing person. And
It's
yeah, she's
one
gonna have
casual
a
conversation.
she's gonna have a 5-minute conversation with me. She's gonna ask for my number. We're gonna start and then I'm gonna be able to introduce her to my friends. It's gonna be sick.
Shall I do on Skype, dude? And then like
Yeah,
a couple months later, she'll send you a message, and
My
that's
God.
all it's gonna be. She's gonna be like, "Oh, I just broke up with my boyfriend, and I just need a shoulder to cry on." And
Really,
Yeah.
it's just like it catches momentum.
And then,
Just get it
and then
going.
you're just like, but you know, the idea is that, you know, you are validated by the other person's success, right? That's a pretty awful way to look at it.
I mean, that's how some people look at it, but I think it's rare. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm just.
I don't think that happens often. I think generally people that are people of similar success levels in whatever field that they're in end up dating each other in that way. That's why all those like Hollywood actresses end up dating Hollywood actors, right?
I
You
also
rarely
think
see, like-
they can't relate to other people as well.
Yeah, that's true. I guess they can't have normal conversations with other people.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we're not that famous. Like, I would actually never be able to leave the house.
I mean, we're still losers, so it's all good.
I know we're losers.
I'm not
but
famous at all.
Don't
Like,
didn't
I'm
say
not saying
shit.
that we're like important in any way, but if you got recognized so much that anywhere you went, like I saw a picture of some celebrity. He was at like a drive-through or something, and some guy did like the person working there took a selfie of himself with the celebrity in the car ordering their food. Like if I had to deal with that, like every time I went out, like you can't say no to the guy because then you're just an asshole. But in the same
yeah,
thing,
but why
like,
would you ever do a drive-through? Like you
could do a drive-through.
You have your butler pick it up or whatever.
You do a drive-through so that there's the only person you interact with is the one guy at the window. So there's a much lower chance of them asking you to take a fucking selfie through the drive-through window.
You order on Seamless, and you leave instructions saying them to leave the thing at the door.
That costs money. What if you're on the way home or something? There's like a million reasons why you should
Costs
be
money.
able.
You're a famous actor. Like
No. That's unrealistic. You can't just say just because you're famous that you can spend money on luxuries like that, which in my opinion are kind of a waste.
I guess. But I think every really famous person or someone that's like successful can hire a personal assistant for a very small amount a month, and I think that's way worth it. 'Cause I read stories about that. Like you can be like someone's personal assistant. You get paid like, I don't know, like few $100s to, you know, like even more a month
All
to
right.
like just do odd tasks.
But what if your favorite French fries in the world are Shake Shack fries, but they are In-N-Out fries, but everybody knows that they get bad after the first 2 minutes they're out of the fryer or something?
They really do.
Exactly.
Those are
rough.
huge diminishing returns
That's
after
rough.
every fry.
Exactly.
I guess
You
I don't
just
know.
never
I
have
don't know
that.
how to handle that problem. I guess you have to be in the restaurant then. Have you guys ever interacted with an actual celebrity in your life?
Yes.
I guess I know a lot of like e-celebrities, like video game celebrities, but
No.
don't
We're
know
talking
you.
about like an actual celeb. Like Blitz, you said yes. You tell us the story.
are you Anthony Bourdain? Is that the one you're gonna say?
Yeah, my Anthony Bourdain story.
Tell me the Anthony Bourdain story.
I'll tell it for the next one. It's pretty long, and I have stuff to do.
Okay. I have a
I
story.
think the. Oh, go
It's
shoot.
not very good. So I played ping pong against Natalie Portman's roommate
Wow.
at a ping pong tournament.
Did you win?
I don't even really remember. I just like this was when Natalie Portman was huge.
Did you-
I guess she still is huge, but like it's when I was of appropriate age to be obsessed with Natalie Portman. You know what I mean?
Did you
okay,
meet her
okay.
afterwards and then go on a date and fall in love with her?
Unfortunately, despite me thinking that was a possibility, like I guess there was a non-zero chance that could have happened.
Yeah.
However, that didn't happen.
Okay.
And I did talk to her, but all I could think about was your Natalie Portman's roommate. Like that's all I
Wait.
could think.
How
Talk to
did,
her
how did you
roommate,
even
or-
know in the first place?
Huh?
How did that get figured out in the first place?
I think she went to Harvard or wherever Natalie Portman went.
And it just came up?
Yeah, it just came up, and it was really funny because when I went to college, I was living in a Jewish frat. Like
Yeah.
not with them, I wasn't in the frat. They gave me one of their hats, like because they thought I was cool. But like I
Yeah.
lived with them in like the living area, right? And they all talked about Natalie Portman all the time. Like, they said their parents kept encouraging them to try and meet her. Like,
God, that must have been
they were
so
like-
awful for her.
like, go try and meet Natalie Portman. She's like #1 on like the Jewish eligible wife power ranking or whatever. So my friend like Mark, who he's just like he's like a funny, like, genuine guy. I was just like, are they serious? Like, they want you to like try and meet Natalie Portman? Like, that's like something that's in their realm of like possibility? He's like, yeah, they just keep asking me to do it. So we went to see some play with Natalie Portman in the park, I think, but that was the closest we ever got.
Nice, man. You almost did it.
Yeah, we almost made eye contact from like all the way in the back of the park to her on stage, and then, you know, my facial expression convinced her to talk to me. And then we went out on a date.
She's like, that guy. I'm
Yeah,
having sex
that
with
guy
him
in the
tonight.
crowd. Whoa, come on, Kevin. I didn't insinuate any sort of physical relationship. I just want to be your friend. She introduced me to more actresses, you know.
Yeah, totally, man. It would be pretty crazy. Like, once you get in a social circle, it's so much easier. So I'm sure, like, it's like the same in the Dota scene too. Like, once somebody is friends with somebody else, it gives you an opportunity to just like show up and like talk to them, or to like enter a friend group. Like, if I only know Hotbid, and Hotbid's in a group with like RTZ and Will, I could hypothetically come up and just say, hey Hotbid, how are you doing? And then the other people, as long as it's recognized that Hotbid knows me, then the other people would vet me and say like, oh, okay, I guess he actually knows.
That's the
somebody.
fake high-low move.
Yeah, you just have to like know one
That's
person.
the what move?
The fake high-low move. Have you never heard of this story?
No.
There's this guy. All right, this is the last story.
Last story, and then we're cutting it.
There's this guy named Hilo who is like on SK, you know, like way back when with like Loda and Ake.
And like pre 2010.
Yeah,
right?
this was like a while ago, and then this was like, Loda like introduced him as Hilo, like his ex teammate, and we're just like, okay, if Loda says he's cool, then he's probably cool, right? So then he becomes really good friends with me, EGM, Smogolig, and Matrum, like just all the Swedish guys and me,
Yeah.
okay? And we even make a team with him. Do you remember that, Kevin? We
Yep.
made a really decent team with him called Turtle Masters. But all we could think about was how bad he was. Like, he had a sub 50% win rate in pubs, and if you're like an ex-pro, no matter how
awful.
like old it is, you should still be like 55% easy, you know? And like, I remember we like Roshan level 1, and he skilled like Liquid Fire.
Which is
on
a
Jakiro or
20
something?
second cooldown, which
Yeah,
horrible.
I was just like, what the. So, anyways, we there were a lot of tip-off signs, but we just kind of were like, oh, he's probably really rusty, or he like broke both his hands or something. So then, like, he pretty much becomes really good friends with us all. He was good friends with us during like the Alliance era, you know, where they won and stuff. They even helped him win a baby Roshan. Like, he was invited to the first party or whatever. Like, that's how integrated into our lives he was. Like, we would talk and play with him all the time. We had a Skype group with like 10 really, you know, pretty big names, and like fake Hilo is like in there and stuff like that. And he was just generally a part of our lives. And then he decided he was going to help this girl run a charity event. I think her name was like Press Fu or something. And
I thought you were gonna say Sayuri, and I was like, okay, this story is really interesting now.
So then he asked me to like ask some people if I can like get, you know, some people, and he was, you know, I was like, yeah, sure, because that's what you get essentially out of friendship. It's like, you know, I'll do anything. So he's just like, hey, can you contact these people? So it was like me, Pyrian, Bruno. I think I even got Merlini. I think I got you, Kevin. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pretty much got like everybody that I possibly could. That was like an A-list Dota celebrity, if you want to call it like that. And then the real Hilo decided he was gonna check Reddit that day for some reason, and then he posts in that thread, and he's like, "This is not me." He's like, I have no idea who it is. And then that guy contacts Loda, and he's just like, "Yo, Loda."
The real
you know,
Hilo does.
Yeah, he's like, "This is the real Hilo. Like, that's a fake guy." And then Loda comes and tells us all. He's like, "Yo, that's a fake Hilo," and it just leaves the chat with all of us in it, and we just all kind of filter out. And we ask him, we're like, "What the fuck did you do that?" And he's like, "I did it as a joke, and then I just didn't know how to stop." And so now none of us talk to him.
Oh, that's so sad. Was he cool?
He was okay. It was more
was
just the fact
okay.
that like,
We thought he was Hilo.
well, like it's a pretty big lie though.
All right, how quickly would you be able to tell someone is fake me?
really
talking
fast.
to me.
Because he was in our Skype all the time. Like, how the fuck does Loaded not realize that it's not?
Dude,
It's not the real Milo.
Swedes are so
I think-
similar though. Come on.
Look, I think that if I was trying to pretend to be someone and all of the interaction I could have was over Skype, I could totally do it for a really long time.
Okay, like
If I was like
imitate
pretend,
me.
yes, I think I could imitate you easily.
No, but it's not that simple. It's not just Skype. They would have voice chats and stuff. They played games together. Like they're
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
using voice
In
chat.
our-
Yeah, but
he
you
was
didn't
in
know
our-
his voice, so
Yeah, because fucking Loda told me it was. He invented it for us.
I don't know, maybe the guy went through puberty or something, or maybe
That's
I don't
what
know.
we thought. We're
He
just like,
started
oh, it's been a
smoking.
while. He has a new mic or something
It's
like that.
like how long had they been out of contact for? Was it like 5 years or
I
something?
think it'd been a while. Like I think it'd been.
if
I think
I
it'd been a few years.
if let's say you messaged me on Skype and I was like prove that you're Blitz, what would you do? You had to do it as fast as you can. What would you say?
I would tell you the thing that you know.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay, Purge, what would you say?
I would tell you the thing that I know about Will. That
Okay.
you know about.
Yeah, that would be a very quick way to determine.
All right, got it. What about to each other?
I'm sure we could think of something. It'd be really easy. I don't know. I can't think of anything on the spot. Sorry, suck. All right, I think we got to cut it out here, guys. We're at 1 hour and 12, and I need to go watch The Merchant. So,
Have
Bye,
fun.
friends.
Let's hope you get saved.
yeah, there's very small chance. All right, thanks for
Is
watching.
he an
guys.
actual Martian?
I
Huh?
think he is. He is the Martian. All right.
right.
Goodbye to everybody. Thanks for watching this week,
Yeah.
and we'll be back in a week or so after we get back from Sweden. Okay,
Yeah, I want to talk about the hub.
we will.
Can you
talk.
guys give the picture to Sir Action Slacks?
We'll work on that. Yep,
Okay, cool.
no problem.
All right.
All right,
Later.
bye, guys.